What is up, YouTube sports card hobby people? Elliot in Las Vegas here with my first ever discussion type video. For those of y'all that don't know, I'm a hockey centric hobbyist, although I do dabble into basketball and soccer cards. Since my experience in the hobby does revolve mostly around hockey, I just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents on the graded hockey card landscape by looking at some basic data that's easily found online. In today's case, I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions with you about the hockey card market based on some interesting information I found online on a site called GemRate. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the content. I'm going to try to keep this video at a digestible length. And since it is my first sort of long form video, I'd appreciate any feedback you have for what I have on deck for you today. You can obviously do that by just leaving a comment down below. So before I get in the nitty gritty, I just want to establish just a couple of basic ground rules and assumptions. Okay, so here we are with ground rules and assumptions. So you can obviously read all this. The content is for entertainment purposes only. These are just my opinions. All of the data that I'm going to show you has been pulled from the gemrate.com website between September 8th and 9th. Today is actually the 10th, so some of the data might be slightly not accurate, but that's okay. The data examines PSA graded sports cards that GemRate obviously pulls from the PSA Pop Report. I think they have some phenomenal data available, so because of that reason, I figured I'd just use that for this video. With that said, I do want to make it clear that I don't know anyone at GemRate. I'm not affiliated with GemRate in any way. I am just a random voice on YouTube. Also, I'm just looking at this through the lens of the PSA Pop Report because PSA has the highest market share overall. Their Pop Report is the easiest to track. When you compare against like BGS is kind of a mess. SGC is not as clean of a Pop Report as PSA, and obviously PSA has the most cards. So therefore, I think we can just see the trends more clearly among hobbyists and collectors. So look, I know there are many grading options, and even in the hockey market, PSA is not necessarily every collector's first choice historically, but in the last couple of years, the majority of new grades are going to PSA. A few years back, it was a little different. Some hockey collectors tended to be diversified in their grading between PSA, BGS, and some others. But I just wanted to add a little bit of color onto this list as why I am using the PSA report. This is not a PSA fanboy video or anything like that. I just thought, hey, this has the most data, so I can make my points using the largest quantity of data that we have. Also, I will be talking about growth. I am talking about domestically within the United States. I am in Las Vegas, and so therefore when I'm talking about domestic growth, I therefore mean USA. We already know that hockey is king in Canada, so we are talking about what kind of growth is possible in the hockey card market here in the US. And again, I do know there are other nuances with hockey card grading. There's a certain sector of collectors that do prefer BGS, some prefer SGC, and then of course for our neighbors up north, you've got options like KSA, MNT, and others, but we're not going to get into that in this video. So anyway, that's what I wanted to preface the content with, so enough of that, and let's dive in. So what I wanted to look at here is what is the current state of things at this very moment in the land of PSA grading. So here on the screen you'll see a pie chart from GemRate along with a table that shows some data points of PSA graded cards across different categories. The table shows the most recent numbers from yesterday, for example, to the last 7 days, the last 30 days. And of course, the pie chart on the right, you'll see that I have selected the filter that shows us the data just for the last 30 days. So if you take a look on the right, that tiny little sliver that has the hockey, it's a green box, has the hockey highlighted there. That little slice represents approximately 1%. 1% of all PSA graded cards over the last month fall into the hockey category. The hockey card market, so to speak, is a very small niche market comparatively to most other sports cards markets. Aside from its size, it behaves completely differently than basketball, football, or baseball, for example. And I think the main reason why is that observations that I've made in different online mediums, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, for example, they tell me that the overall sentiment is, what I've seen is, at least, is that it seems to be way more collector based than, for example, in the basketball card market, which, I definitely know that there's a lot more flipping going on in basketball and baseball, and then to a lesser degree football even, than there is in hockey. It's kind of hard to quantify and substantiate the claim with any data because there really isn't any, but that's just my gut instinct from what I've seen. So I can say it a different way. Proportionally speaking, there is a much higher percentage of collectors in hockey than in football and basketball. I'm not too sure about baseball, but in other words, what I'm basically saying is that there's not much flipping going on in general in hockey, especially when it comes to like raw product. So it's a lot easier to establish that there's not much flipping going on in general in hockey, just because if you just look at the prices of hobby boxes. So tell me I'm wrong after you look at prices of, say, 2019-20 Upper Deck compared to 2019-20 Mosaic hanger boxes, or cello packs, or even the mega boxes, which aren't even hobby items. Upper Deck does hold the license for the NHL trading cards, and keeping that in mind, do we ever see the insane prices for Upper Deck hobby boxes when they're released compared to other mainstream sports? No, absolutely not. I would just want to take a gander on what was the price of Prism for Zion's rookie year, 2019. When it first came out, I want to say it was slightly over $500-600, and then it just went nuclear, blasted off. And then this year with the LaMelo NBA rookie class, I know Prism Hobby started like a Dutch auction, and it got down to like $2K for a hobby box. But anyways, so to me that's super sky high, and but to other people maybe it's not as high. In hockey, a typical hobby box of Series 1 or Series 2, which are the flagship sets, they right now they run anywhere between $100 and $130. I remember over just about a year ago, Upper Deck Series 1 for the 2019-20 edition. I was being able to pick those up in a hobby shop here in Las Vegas for $60. Now Series 2 got a little bit more expensive, but anyways, you get the point. It depends on your perspective, but you got to acknowledge that with hockey you do have a friendlier entry point. So put another way, how many times over the last year and a half have you gone into a store, whether it's an LCS, big box retailer like Walmart, Target, or even online, and found that hockey is just hanging out on the shelf at quote-unquote reasonable prices, but meanwhile there's like little to no basketball, baseball, or football to be found at all. And even if you could find those sports cards at Target, for example, As you can see here, they specifically set limits on quantities of retail products for those main sports, NBA, NFL, and MLB. And as you can notice, there's no mention made of hockey at all. Now, did the prices of certain hockey hobby boxes go up during this last crazy year and a half? Yeah, sure they did, but and some more than others. Some should be higher priced and they're not, but that's a topic for another day. But the point that's been made is that, and the key nuances that you should take away from this are one, a higher percentage of the hockey marketplace is occupied by collectors rather than flippers. Two, there is a much smaller overall participation in the hockey card market. I think there's room to grow there. And three, there is just a different approach altogether of the products that are produced by the licensed hockey card manufacturer, which is Upper Deck. And four, and I think also this is a very key point, is that in the hockey card community, there's just a completely different approach to the rookie card. So we'll get into that in a few moments. So, but first I just wanted to establish some more perspective, because I really think that the perspective matters on this. So across all 2019 hockey sets, for example, I mean, I'm talking about every set that was made, whether it was Series 1 and 2 hockey, Upper Deck Ice, Upper Deck the Cup, Upper Deck Stature, the list goes on. Across all of those hockey sets, less than 14,000 cards have been graded at PSA as of, this screenshot is from September the 8th, so just 2 days ago. Compare that number to just one basketball card from 2019, and that's the Zion Williamson Prism Base. In the PSA 9 version, there's over 15,000 alone. We're approaching 20,000 PSA 10s. So more than 34,000 of just one card from Panini Prism has been graded just to PSA 9 or 10. We're not counting lower grades. We're not counting any of the parallels. We're just comparing that one card to the entirety of all cards from any set of 2019 hockey. Let that sink in for just a moment. So when you think about the disparity in sheer numbers, ask yourself, is there any potential growth at all for hockey? Now, I'm not saying that hockey is going to get to the level of this, but, you know, for example, let me use another example. The most hyped rookie in the last few years in hockey, aside from Alexis Lafreniere, which was just this last year, was the 2015-16. That's Connor McDavid's rookie year. Upper Deck knew that McDavid was going to be a stud right out of the gate. And for those of us that have been around long enough, you'll know that they printed the ever-living heck out of their flagship and other sets. So we know that Connor McDavid has a high pop count within the perspective of the hockey card market. For us, his Young Guns PSA pop is over 3,400 for all grades of his Young Guns. So that begs the question, then, what do those numbers tell us? Is hockey just small and that's it? And don't forget, you know, many people, myself included, came back into the hobby, or there were some that were just new to the hobby in 2019 when products for all the sports were being gobbled up in the frenzy. Now, don't get me wrong, there was still plenty of hockey to be had by everyone. It's just that the scale is so vastly different and the demand is lower. But I think it is crucial to understand and not gloss over the fact that one of the biggest things that hockey has going for it is that there's not this insane level of overprinting that is going on with the likes of Panini, for example. And if you thought that 2019 Prism was nuts, just look at 2020 with the retailization of Select, is what I'd call it. You've got so many new sets that are just, and on top of the existing flagship like Prism in basketball, it is being printed into the ground. So By the way, I just wanted to note that on this slide, you can see that there are a total of 339 different sets for hockey. And that doesn't mean that they're the standalone products. There's just there's some subsets within a set, but just keep that number in mind as we go on to the next slide here. Okay, so here we are. On the last slide, to cement in the whole perspective thing, I know there's a lot of numbers here, but let me just show you what I mean. On the left, we've got the last 5 complete years worth of hockey data from 2015 all the way through 2019. On the right, you've got 2019 in basketball, baseball, football, and soccer. So if you take a look in this total sets for basketball and baseball, so like over 600 sets for basketball and more than 1,000 for baseball. And even more astounding than that is if you just check out the total grades for basketball, and keep in mind these are only PSA grades. We're not talking about any other grading company that people are sending cards to in droves like BGS, SGC, GMA, ABC, you know, the list goes on. Just PSA, you've got over 1.3 million grades of 2019 basketball cards. Now, look at, on the left, total grades for hockey for each year. So I think there's your perspective there as it pertains to the grading landscape. So we've established that there's a small size of hockey compared to other mainstream sports card markets, and that's obvious. So let's address the other main difference, which is the approach to the rookie card overall. So if you are new or relatively new to hockey, the main thing that you'll need to know and understand is that unlike in basketball, baseball, or football, the hockey card market has one main base rookie card, in my opinion at least, and that's the Young Guns. So as you can see here, this is just a evolution of Young Guns cards over the last 10 years, from I think it's 2012 through 2021, 22, down on the bottom right. I just wanted to stress the importance on this point that hockey has one main rookie card that everybody agrees on, because even though there's a variety of hockey sets, the Young Guns, everybody knows that they are the rookie card for any given player, the attainable rookie card. So we're not going to talk about, you know, RPAs from the Cup or other, you know, elite sets. I'm talking about the most, you know, ascertainable, your average Joe's rookie card set, which is Young Guns. Those cards are found in standard Upper Deck Series 1 and Series 2 hockey. They both have hobby and retail formats. There's a close second to the basic Young Guns, which is a Young Guns canvas. That's just a photo variation that's on a canvas-like cardstock. Those are harder to pull and far less common than your standard Young Guns. So Young Guns is the rookie card, and it's not even close. So nothing against basketball, football, or baseball. I mean, as I told you, I do collect some basketball and soccer myself. It's just that the thing is, in those sports, it's not 100% clearly established, and I know it's kind of a hot take, but it's not clearly established which rookie card is the rookie card. It's just not the case. It's hard to ascertain in Topps for baseball. It's debatable in basketball with Panini. A lot of people would say, yeah, Prism base, but you know, when you have like pop counts that are approaching like 50K, is that really the rookie card that you want? I'm not sure. And then now this whole thing with Fanatics looming in the distance, it's somewhat debatable what the true rookie card is going to be going forward. It's just that any hockey hobbyist is going to tell you that the most desirable base card for any particular player is that player's Young Guns. On top of that, the NHL is due for a lot of exposure in the coming years. There's been, as you know, Las Vegas, we got our expansion team in 17-18. There is the expansion team coming out in Seattle for their first season, just in the next month and a half or so when the season starts. And then the NHL inked a new TV deal with Turner Sports, ESPN, TNT, and TBS. And that is going to bring a lot more eyeballs on cable and streaming than there ever was, in my opinion. And I'm talking again in the United States. So that is essentially what I wanted to show you today. And I think at the beginning here, I posed the question, is the hockey card market primed for growth? And my answer to that is a resounding yes. So I hope you enjoy what I have shown you today. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel inclined to do so. And I will leave it at that. And we've got plenty of content to come out soon. And just let me know what you think, and I appreciate your time. Thanks very much.